It's 5:45 p.m., which means it's time for BCTV's Nightly News Roundup. I'm Roland Boyden alongside Joe Bushy. This show is 5:45 Live. Tonight we'll talk more about the tragedy in Walpole and some new details that have been released there. Peter Galbraith's got some interesting information from his legislative breakfast, and the Am Vermont Strong campaign gets a boost from the governor. All that and more, and we're going to try and do it all in 15 minutes, so we're hoping you get time to stick with us here on 5:45 Live.
I don't think anyone in this room doesn't want to be green. Anyone in this room doesn't want to be a clean environment, have a clean environment. But we also have to look at the reality of the costs of these things.
Rep. Mike Hebert talking at the legislative breakfast held this morning. Joe, you were there. Some interesting stuff from Senator Peter Galbraith. We'll talk a little bit more about that in a second.
For sure.
Welcome back to this February 13th, 2012 edition of 5:45 Live. We'll get right into the headlines. Joe, I'll turn it over to you.
All right, Roland. The Washington Post is reporting that investigators now believe that Hunter Mack, the 14-year-old boy who sustained injuries from a self-inflicted gunshot wound in the Walpole Elementary School on Friday, may, quote, have been upset about a relationship with a girl. Mack remains in intensive care, and the Boston Globe and the Huffington Post are reporting that his condition was reported as serious on Friday, but officials today have declined to give an update. Cheshire County Attorney Peter Heed reported at Friday's press conference in Walpole that he'd been airlifted to Dartmouth-Hitchcock following the shooting, but declined to give any more information.
That student is being treated for serious injuries. Do not have any updated medical information beyond that.
The school district online message board did report over the weekend that the school would be held today, they'll be open, and that crisis response counselors would be available for students and staff, and that'll be throughout the coming weeks. All right, next, the Dover Police Department is still investigating the death of a New York man who suffered fatal injuries while skiing on Mount Snow's Ridge Trail last week. 33-year-old Michael Schroeder was transported by Mount Snow Rescue Unit and was pronounced dead upon reaching the resort's base medical center.
No one from Mount Snow or the Dover Police have released more information as of yet, but as of this time, no foul play is suspected. Moving on, we'll stick with Mount Snow, who will find themselves plaintiffs in the suit filed against the Winter Dew Tour, claiming that the tour violated their contract with the mountain after failing to give them the specified 60 days notice before cutting the stopover in Dover from their tour.
According to the Winter Dew Tour general manager, Chris Prebilo, his organization's decision to cut Mount Snow came from the tour came after discovering that the mountain's half pipe was too short. All right, next. Joe, you were at the legislators' breakfast here in town when Windham County reps grabbed some scones together, chatted up with the public about the latest happenings in Montpelier. Of course, what do we got? Vermont Yankee, smart grid, education, all among the classics they talked about here. But the standout, as I understand it to you, Joe, was Senator Peter Galbraith's comments about I guess I would say a rapidly closing window and a unique opportunity for the state to take control of its energy future. I'll let you break it down in one sec, but first, we've got the clip.
Let me explain what is at stake. Vermont's two largest utilities are planning a merger. The utilities in Vermont own Velco, which runs the transmission system, and Transco, which owns the infrastructure. So the issue here is who controls our state's key infrastructure and how are they going to use it?
Windham County Senator Peter Galbraith talking at the legislative breakfast held this morning right here in Brattleboro. Joe, you were the cameraman behind that clip and that operation. Of course, we'll put the full broadcast of that up on BCTV as soon as we can, and it'll also be available on BCTV's video on demand, both in standard def for you on low bandwidth situations, and also in high definition, as this show will go up as well. All right, that's enough talking about all that geeky stuff. Joe, you were there. Peter Galbraith clearly, I don't want to say excited about this, but this clearly very important to him, and kind of an interesting thing. I think he's perhaps a little perturbed that it's not as on people's radar as it could be.
And that is probably the essence of what he was trying to get forth there. It needs to be on the radar, and it needs to be on it soon because, according to, if I understood him correctly, once the merger of GMP and CVPS is consolidated, then it'll become a moot point. So really, there's a sense of urgency to it, and we will be gathering more information in the next week or so, and we'll have another story up on it with a little bit more focus. I may even have a separate story with a clip up on the news for that. So
absolutely,
we'll do the best we can.
All right, moving on. The I Am Vermont Strong apparel-based fundraising movement that has exploded onto the scene, raising disaster relief money in the state, now has the governor's official support for the new license plate campaign. At last week's press conference, Governor Shumlin expressed his gratitude towards the project's creators.
I can't tell you how proud I am of the legislature, of the people who are working so hard behind me to make the I Am Vermont Strong license plates a critical part of our ability to help the people who got hit so hard by Irene.
Well, Joe, you got yours, I think.
Yeah, I got
stole
mine.
your line,
I happened to be at DMV on Friday, and I renewing the registration of my car, and when I saw they were available, I just couldn't wait to have one of them. And I was really happy to hear from Molly Burke this morning that, if I understood her correctly, she said that out of every $25 for each plate, that 18 went to Irene relief, $2 went to the state food bank, and $5 went to the state for the actual cost of manufacturing and distributing the plates. So, and I didn't hear her describe that there was a limit to them. She said, get them while they're hot. She thinks it'll be a collector's item. Put them on your car, put them on your mantle, put them on your bicycle, but whatever you do, get them. I was saying earlier to Daryl, I'd like to see one of those plates on every law enforcement cruiser in the state. I think that'd be a good place to start.
Maybe we can get one for the set here as well. If you want to
Oh,
find
we
out
definitely
more,
will.
this thing's centered around their Facebook page, facebook.com/Vermont Strong. Also, you can find more at vermontstrong.com.
No, vermont.gov.
All right.
That's the address on the plate. Vermont Strong.
On the plate, though is there another
one?
They have
Yeah.
also picked up the vermontstrong.com
great.
domain as well as just checking that out as well. So I can see that as quoted off the website, this is their quote, what started as an attempt to create a viral Facebook campaign with an image and a strong message of hope has turned into a successful fundraising effort for disaster relief organizations. As I mentioned, you can find out all you need to know and to get Vermont Stronging all at vermontstrong.com or the website John mentioned. Of course, they're really doing it on Facebook, so facebook.com/Vermont Strong. All right, that's the headlines for today, Joe. As we mentioned, we'll try and get more on the condition of the 14-year-old who suffered serious injury at the Walpole Elementary School on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit more about this merger that could take a little energy future power away from Vermont. Hopefully we'll get Peter Galbraith to talk to us face-to-face, talk a little bit about that. That's in the coming weeks as well. But that leaves us with some time here on the show. Of course, Harris Hill, let's quickly promote that.
Yeah.
We don't have a clip today, but it's Harris Hill kickoff week. We're going to be, we got Wednesday and Friday, so we got a total of half an hour coming up, and we're going to throw a good bunch of those minutes toward the Harris Hill campaign, and you and Daryl Pillsbury are going to be out on the slopes that
We'll be
day.
there Saturday and Sunday. I noticed that in Steve West's live and local schedule for tomorrow that Spencer Knickerbocker is scheduled to be on there. So
Nice.
I don't know. I might have to sneak over there and take a clip from Spencer that we could put on the Wednesday show. So we'll see what we can do with that.
Sounds terrific. All right, we got a few things to wrap up our show here with, including our new high-tech traffic report, probably the coolest thing I've ever seen. We've got it on the screen here behind us as well as part of our new set. You can check that out. And we've also got it up on the screen here, so let's kind of break down what's going on here and try and I want to get the grid in here at the bottom if we can see it. You can see we've got a strip here. Red means it's basically standstill traffic if you look here. Orange is heavily congested but moving, and then when you've got green, you're moving, you're trucking along. So if we take a look at what's going on here in downtown, Joe, the big news, I think, is that there's a strip of the deadliest zone in town between High Street and Canal Street that's actually bumped up to orange, so up to 25 miles an hour.
Northbound. I came up right up through. When I came up through just now, there was nothing. There were no cars at all at the stoplight in front of the co-op. Came up, stopped for 30 seconds. Came all the way up through Main Street on one shot.
Of course, if you're headed
They
south,
look
you
beautiful.
suffer the fate that so many downtown traffickers suffer, and that's getting stuck right in that block of red. 91 traffickers are good to go, as always. If you're headed north up Putney Road, you've got a big block of green there, too, which means you're good to go. And if you're headed out Route 9 through West Chesterfield, you're also good to go. Everywhere else, Canal Street, Western Ave, and coming south down Putney Road are moving, though heavily congested. That's our high-tech traffic report powered by INRIX and Beat the Traffic. Let's, what do we got? A few more
We got
minutes
some
here.
weather? Oh,
Let's
look at
quickly
that
touch
weather
on
forecast.
the weather
Holy
here
cow.
as well. Maybe I can have you do that, Joe, while I pop it up on the flat screen behind us as well.
Looks like you can see they're talking about showers for tomorrow night, showers for Wednesday night, rain and snow showers for Thursday night, and back to showers for Friday night. And if you notice, we are setting in the 40s or better for the better part of the next 10 days, and down in the lower 20s all but a couple of days. So I think spring's right around the corner. I don't know about you, Roland.
Easy to think that in February, though.
That's wishful
sometimes
thinking.
a deadly thought. So there you go.
For sure.
All right, we got to close this sucker out, but we'll mention with Valentine's Day coming up tomorrow, you could, of course, get your special someone some flowers, some chocolates, but you could also get them a love song. That's right. The Brattleboro Women's Chorus has a pretty cool fundraiser, I think, and that you can actually purchase their services from a trio to make a house call to your loved one and sing them
Whoa,
a
that's
tune.
a custom gift.
Yeah,
How about that?
if,
mariachis or sort of
something like that. If your special someone is not in the immediate area, they'll do it by phone as well for a slightly reduced charge. So very cool. And let's see, we'll quickly throw out what's coming up on BCTV as well before we close this show out, including 10:20 p.m., the Brattleboro Area Chamber of Commerce annual meeting from a few weeks back. It's showing in its entirety. That includes a special award for BCTV commemorating 35 years of dedicated community service as Brattleboro's only source for television coverage. So pretty cool, and of course our outlying towns served as well. And then also at 11 p.m., I'll just quickly note a new show coming out of Fact TV called Captain Salty's End of the World Show. We've been tuning this in several times down in the office. It's pretty hilarious, kind of a variety show of just the wildest nature. So that's coming up again, 11 p.m. tonight. That's all right here on BCTV Channel 8, our public channel. And you can also catch any government-related sources 2 clicks up the dial on Channel 10, including live basketball tonight from Brattleboro Union High School, courtesy of the BUHS TV news program headed up by Karen Rawazi and Gary Blomgren. Very cool stuff.
great job covering the games too.
It's really fun. They
Yeah.
got multiple cameras out there.
Yeah, right.
They're really having a time of it. I think it's plenty
For sure.
plenty of work for them, but certainly we're reaping the benefits of it, getting to check all those games out. If you can't make it to a game, you can actually watch it if they win. It's hard to watch a losing game the following day, but they've had some great victories, and how great is that to be able to tune into BrattleboroTV.org and watch that as
sure.
well. All right. That's all I got, and we got about a minute and 30 seconds left, which is actually more time than I need to tell you what's coming up this week. Of course, Wednesday at 5:45 p.m. is the next time you'll see our ugly mugs here. No, we'll be getting you a show I'm excited for with more on Harris Hill, more from Peter Galbraith, all the usual headlines, our chit-chat shenanigans, weather report, of course the traffic report we get so excited about, all that and more. Again, 5:45 p.m. on Wednesday, and we'll be doing a heck of a broadcast on Friday as well, so I'm hoping we can...
We'll have some jumpers.
Yeah, it'll be terrific, and so plenty of stuff
report.
coming up.
Go report, ski report for the weekend.
Excellent.
We'll have it all.
All right, again, 5:45 p.m. if you haven't already figured that out from the title of our show right here, BCTV at Channel 8. We'll see you then. All right, that's all I got.
long.
So I'll say Joe for BCTV and 5:45 Live. I'm Roland Boyden alongside Joe Bushy. Thanks, everybody.
That's a wrap.